Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the UKEL Week 5, Game 1 between Absolved and Mythos. I am Will Viper in Whittingham. I am joined by Harry Dr. Evans for the first couple of games tonight. Harry, how are you doing? You're waving at the camera. Our webcams are not on screen yet.
I thought they were.
There we go. We're on.
I was misled.
I
have no idea when they are on. It makes sense that there would be team logos there when there are team logos there instead of us. That one checks out. Yeah, this is alright. I've lost a lot of solo queue games today. That's basically all I've done. It's a good
How
time.
many are we talking? What's the damage?
Not that many, but I failed my Plat 1 promos twice yesterday. Early season has not been kind to me.
Wait, twice?
Season 11 will be my year. Twice in one day, which is pretty impressive.
So you lose your promos, and then you climb back into them, and you're like, do you know what? I'm gonna try
Can't lose them again.
Take two.
Yeah.
And then you lost them again.
I've just had
some for a third time now?
I have actually had a disproportionate amount of AFK. No, I lost like 3 in a row after the second loss. I had a disproportionate amount of AFKs in my last few games, which is always nice. And it's always the ADC. It's a fun fact.
That's not good. Well,
it's not good at all.
We got a couple of exciting games. I've been looking for the fixtures, and we've got a couple of really juicy ones to look over. So the first one we're going to be watching, as we said, is Absolved versus Mythos. So that is going to be two teams that are on the same scoreline, 3-1. Going into week 5. That makes sense. That's how numbers work. Absolved taking their first L of the tournament last week to NSG. They've also been looking pretty strong across the board, and this is going to be a prime top of the table matchup. We're going into Champ Select, ladies and gentlemen, for our first match of the night. Of course, Absolved are going to be on the blue side with Mythos going on the red. Not Champ Select just yet, actually. There we go. And two teams that I'm expecting a lot for. Which of these? We're going to talk through the draft as bands go through. Probably standard stuff. We'll stop and talk. But
it's just already not.
Okay. What's
confusion.
Going on,
there is a really weirdly high priority on Syndra in this league, and I don't know why. We saw last week it was first picked blue side twice in a row. I think once was by Peak, and the second time was by, I want to say, London. I think it was, and it was kind of interesting because it got aggressively hard countered by Ornn. By Braum. So I don't know why we're seeing that one. I'm not sure why that's so high priority in these games. And also Kiana ban. Take that one off the table. Not sure too much what's going on there. But we've got all the way through the picks and bans. Set has been left open. Ornn taken away. Tell you now, that is, if you want to enjoy League of Legends a lot more, just ban Ornn. Now we've got a couple of options open for Mythos.
Yeah, champions like Braum, champions like, obviously, take away Senna, Aphelios, both open. Misfortune's also there. You can pick up Jarvan, your favourite champion. Could also be picked up. It's going to be the Aphelios being the option for marksman, and likely see a jungler or support is kind of the standard thing. But obviously, with the set on the table, you've got to imagine that's going towards the top lane, which means that you could maybe look to get your counter pick in early.
Yeah, there's a couple of options available. Actually, no supports taken. They're just looking to get that nice wombo with the Aphelios and the Jarvan, and that does leave the likes of the Braum open, who does pretty nicely into the Aphelios and pairs up with it quite well. On top of that, if you are picking this sort of Jarvan Aphelios, you probably want to combo up with something like the Leona, like a nice engaged support to really follow in onto this combo, and Braum is going to do a really good job up against that kind of thing. So we've got Manko in the jungle. Apparently it's actually Kalista, no jungle Teemo mains here today. So Kalista, Thresh going to be the bot lane locked in for Absolved there.
Interesting lane. Kalista's a champion we've seen having a resurgence in the past few weeks, so pairing that one up with a Thresh, a very strong staple in the bot lane support wise. Don't know if I love this bot lane. Guess to see how Gould plays it. Obviously, Gould loves Kalista. We know that from seasons gone by, and the Thresh as well on Regan. A bot lane that's been playing quite well in the past few weeks. Maybe has been a strong point on this Absolved roster. And as you were saying, the Leona going to be picked up alongside the Aphelios to round out Mythos' first set of picks. And we're going back into the ban phase.
Yeah, so the Thresh is really nice here because it's going to have an easy time capitalizing on the immobile Aphelios, and then can disengage a Jarvan and a Leona quite nicely. So it fills that similar role to the Braum there, whilst having a very strong lane up with the Kalista. Kalista seeing a lot more play recently, but usually she's almost always paired up with the Taric. That's the sort of combo you get huge Sort of, you get huge mobility, really easy to land the Taric stun because Kallista's so mobile, and then you bring the Taric in, you throw him in, you're getting massive AoE Taric ults across the board. You can put him wherever you need to with the Kallista ult. It's a very strong lane. So the Thresh is a little bit weaker in that regard, and seeing as Kallista isn't a sort of top tier ADC, it's only really when she's paired up with that Taric that she can shine. This is going to be a good opportunity for Gould to prove that he is one of the better ADCs by reverting back onto his old pocket pick and proving that he can still do well even in a suboptimal situation.
Going up against Krislep and Lao Wai, not the easiest bot lane to go up against, so it is an excellent chance to prove that on your pocket pick, you're one of the best carries in the league. And Mordekaiser are being locked in now for Mythos, as we see Sejuani, Cassiopeia, Fiora, and Diana all taken to the table. Nice, strong top laner. What do you think of this Mordekaiser set lane? Because that's presumably what it's going to be.
Yeah, and the Fiora is banned away here by Absolved. And all you've done there is then just get rid of Mordekaiser's best lane. And yeah, you have the set already locked in, but you could flex that into jungle or into mid or something, and then get the counter pick onto the Mordekaiser, right? As it stands now, the Mordekaiser has been locked in, the Fiora isn't there to play against it, and now you're stuck with the sort of set into the Mordekaiser matchup. You could still flex it out, but then you're probably just going to get countered again. But at that point, you are running out of champions that counter set, so yeah, it looks like it will be the set up in the top lane, and it's kind of a rough one for set, as is every melee matchup. Mordekaiser is favored in every melee matchup, I should say. But there are a few little tricks you can do. Things like the Mordekaiser E doesn't cancel Set's Haymaker, so you can sort of line it up quite nicely. You can pull yourself in to where you need to be. Something that is just pure comedy is every time Set tries to engage, Mordekaiser can just yoink him out of the sky before he actually lands, if he's trying to go in for that RKO, and it's honestly just funny to watch. It's not always great, because then you might have stuck yourself in with a very strong Set, but it's kind of funny just to watch the whole thing entirely fizzle. The other picks, of course, being the LeBlanc and the Zac.
The Zac song, we've seen a lot coming in from the Flex King Tyrion. I pronounced his name right as well. This is amazing. There's a couple of players who I'm not good at pronouncing names at the best of times, and he was one that I got very wrong for a while.
What are you saying?
Have been corrected on that now. So it was him and Daiku, actually. So two players in this league, or in this game, in fact, who I don't know how to pronounce your names, but we're just going to be running through to get rid of that Teemo, that pesky Teemo from the picks, because it was obviously the Callista actually being locked in. But the Zac is a pick that I really like on 10.4. Obviously, Tyrion didn't have the best performance on it last week. I think we all saw what happened at Krugs. But more importantly than that, the idea of camping towards this bot side and not really getting anything done in the first minutes and giving over a lot of pressure and kills to the Vayne. Vayne got on that one. What do you see with these two junglers coming through? The Zac and Jarvan, what do you make of that matchup? Where should these guys be focusing?
Well, it's pretty... His biggest weakness is the fact that his EQ, other than his inability to scale, of course, Jarvan's EQ is his engage, his damage, his escape, and his CC. So when you put the Jarvan up against someone that can contest him early, someone like maybe a Graves or a Kha'Zix, a Nidalee, he is really doomed because he cannot use that ability at all. You're playing the game with one ability at that point. You have to save your EQ to get out. So when you're up against the Zac, you can be a little bit more aggressive because he's going to find it a little harder to punish you. That said, as the game does go on later and later, the Jarvan's really going to sort of struggle to match the engage of the Zac, just because Zac becomes a persistent threat when he goes for an engage, whereas Jarvan just sort of drops the Cataclysm and then exists. Zac is actually constantly putting out the crowd control, and on top of that, Zac likes it when people are nice and grouped up, and a Cataclysm does do just that. So if Foreshore isn't careful with those ultimates, Tyrion is really going to start to take over the team fights as the game goes on.
Something that Zac can do very, very well. Obviously, the buffs to Cinder Hulk, or Cinder Hulk items, really, really helped out the Zac, because he's heavy CC, big tanky guy, loves going for those health items and making himself impossible to take down. And Absolved have actually built himself a really, really nice frontline composition. You've got the Set, you've got the Zac, you've got the Thresh as well, who's going to be able to be chucked in aggressively because you can be saved by the Callista. And how are Mythos going to be able to get around and take down this really strong composition that Absolved have built for themselves? Because Mythos, they got themselves some really, really cool champions as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure here on Protect Salat on the Fizz. So Fizz, not something you see every day. And there's a very big front line here with the Set and with the Zac. Of course, As the Assassin Fizz, your job is to get around behind them and see what you can do to Gould and Thomas go. These are two really mobile champions, the LeBlanc and the Kalista, but if you take one of them out, the fight is yours. Set will still pose a huge problem after that, and something you definitely have to keep an eye on, but if Patetsalat can make the picks, and even better if he can get out and come back and try and do it again, as Fizz is one to do when he has the incredibly low cooldowns and high mobility, it's going to go real well for Mythos in that regard. They also have Laue on the Leona, who's going to be able to lock them down, and the Leona does follow along with a Kalista and a LeBlanc. If she hits the Zenith Blade and then they try and jump back, you do sort of go with them, so it can make it a little bit easier to lock them down, but you do still have to hit the Zenith Blade for that to happen. Likewise, it's going to be almost impossible to land a strong ult from the Leona, trying to get that Solar Flare down really hard. So, how do you do that? You could line it up with a massive AoE 99% slow, something that Crisblep has 1/6 of the time. So keep your eyes on what that Aphelios is doing with his ultimate. Keep your eyes on which guns he's choosing to sit on, because they will really change the course of these fights.
We were talking a little bit about Aphelios, I want to say, was it yesterday? During Square One we were talking about this champion and how you think he's actually quite balanced.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I was like, haha, no. But obviously, a very meta bot lane in the Aphelios and the Leona, with Kalista and Fresh kind of the new kids on the block. I'm very interested to see how that bot lane goes, but we've kind of talked through the composition. I want to say, before we go into game, what's your gut feeling, just looking at the compositions, removing teams, removing players, which one of these compositions do you think is favoured?
Oh...
Difficult
I really
questions.
like everything Absolved has going, except for the LeBlanc.
Okay.
That's a spicy one. Now, it's a good matchup, I think, versus the Fizz. It's okay. As long as you connect for Tether. If you make sure you're using the Tether twice, trying to dodge out his ult as best you can. In the lane, in the 1v1, you can have a good time, but it really starts to get rough, especially once Fizz gets his proto belt and might look to try and outpush you, because Distortion, very dangerous to use that one for wave clear when you're up against the Fizz. So I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I think it's actually all just down to mid laners. If you look, everything else is really meta, and then you have these two sort of fringe assassins. And I can't decide which one I like more, so I'm going to ignore both of them and then give that one over to Absolved, because I think they just, if in a 4v4, they have the slightly better, in my opinion.
I like that. Thinking about predictions, I predicted Absolved to win this matchup.
I think we predicted exactly the same this week.
Yeah, you copied.
Some would say that you copied my predictions.
If we want to go back to the list and order, the order people gave predictions, I gave my predictions second. You were not the first person to give
you
predictions.
can prove that. It's a shame that we don't have the technology to display that on the stream.
I almost certainly could. Joe can back me up on this.
Joe, don't do it. We don't need Joe.
It's fine. You've become the next
technology,
governor.
So I guess it's just my word against yours. And all I'm saying is I have more Twitter followers who will back me up. So
yeah, but not by much. Honestly,
not by a lot. Not by a lot.
Much closer than it used to be.
Okay, you know what was really weird yesterday? This morning.
What's really weird yesterday?
This is entirely irrelevant. I saw a good meme.
We're jumping into game, but it's good.
On Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, we got like 3 minutes before something actually happens. I saw a good meme.
Okay.
I copied it, like the link, sent it in a group chat. Like 13 seconds later, the person that posted it followed me. I have never had any interaction with that person whatsoever, did not vibe with the tweet at all in a professional status. And they followed me. I was just sweating from then. I was like, how do they know? So, clearly, Twitter's been dishing out my personal information.
Clearly, Twitter's just giving out all your info, but we are in the game. Absolved on the blue side, Mythos on the red side. This is the first game of Week 5 of the UKEL. We're coming to the business end of the season, folks. And of course, these teams over the top of the table. A win here could, well, we've been kind of talking about, if you're watching the London pre-show, we've been talking about what kind of scoreline teams going to need to get to those top 4 playoff spots. Thinking about 3 and 4 with a good head-to-head record against teams in that area may well be enough to sneak in. Both of these teams are guaranteed that scoreline. So winning here will push one of these teams probably into the playoffs. Asterisk, that's not mathematically confirmed, but it could well be the case. And both these teams are going to really want to do so. For Absolved, they'll be thinking this is where we should be. For Mythos, we'll also be thinking that, but Mythos will also be proving a lot of people wrong in tier lists and general discussion pre-split, but have come out and surprised people a great deal. But what do you think of these junglers? They've started on opposite sides, both on their blue buff. Does this indicate anything?
This is real nice for Mythos, because one of the sort of Zach's strengths is that he can accelerate his clear a little bit by doing his blue and his Grump at the same time. If you start blue, you cannot, because A, the Grump isn't up, and B, you need like 3 abilities to do it, right? So, I was going to say, this slows down his full clear quite a bit, and at the same time, for sure will be looking for that 3 camp into gank. As it stands, he's now actually taking the Wolves, so he's not quite looking for that, but still, when it comes to looking at the full clears side by side, this has taken away a lot of the advantage that the Zac might have, and so if they both want to just do, 6 camps, a crab, and reset, there's a chance that For Sure will be a little faster on that. That being said, Zac, of course, still has the AoE when it comes to dealing with the chickens and the Krugs, but it looks like For Sure might be coming up to find a gank here in the top lane.
And Zac won't be there to contest it because he's on the bot side, so For Sure could have a pretty free one. Rojojo needs to be careful. A little bit extended. Has the flash obviously available, but he's going to start fighting Daiku, and For Sure's there for the gank. Flash away from the knock-up, trying to get the kill onto Mordekaiser, and we'll be able to do it. That's first blood going over, and now Set going to be able to walk away. Gank turned on its head as Absolved pick up first blood.
That's not how ganks work. It's a good effort. So the way that gets very spooky is because that's an unorthodox gank timer. You don't expect to see Jarvan do 4 camps and then gank. He took the extra time to do the Wolves, so Rojojo thinks he's safe. He's like, I haven't been 3 camped by Jarvan, and then he turns up. But there's a massive wave on Rojojo's side. He has the level advantage. I'm pretty sure that the grasp from Daiku was not up, and then once Rojojo flashes in forward, Daiku, all you have to do is flash away. For sure, very wide with his EQ flash. Thomas Go having to flash out of that one. Thought he had the distortion available, but yeah, a lot burnt in the top side, ready to just hand over Rojojo a kill. We'll have to see what he's going to be able to do with that one.
Tyron just going to be picking up the Scuttle Crab on the bottom side as they look to get some vision. Absolved going deep into the jungle as a unit to make sure that they're safe and they're not going to be caught out, but I say very, very individually well played from Rojojo to be able to pick up that first blood, avoid the gank, and get out alive as well. That's going to be loving having that. A little bit behind in farm, so does need to be picking up that as much as possible so that he doesn't fall behind in gold, because first blood gold is a good amount, but Mordekaiser is not a customer you want to be giving a lead to. Vetsalat and Thomas Go have enjoyed going at each other, and Thomas Go having a better time of it. Actually gets the ignite down and gets the kill. Thomas Go should survive the burn, and no junglers in the neighborhood to make him pay. That's a second individual play that goes Absolved's way.
Okay. Nice! Thomas Go gets the kill, gets the counter matchup. Actually, not a counter matchup at all for Petzetsalat chose this lane. But still managed to get the kill. As I said, it is lightly favoured to the old LeBlanc. And yeah, that's what happens. If you hit the tether, even though Fizz can look to try and get the playful Trickster to get out, he is still going to get locked up. You are.
Daiku just shoving on in, For Sure moving down towards that bot side now, trying to make it a trifecta of ganks. Has not yet had the most successful one, but is looking to come in. Regan and Gould need to be careful. Lawai there could potentially look for the engage. Not going to be able to do so just yet though, as the bot lane from Zov does manage to back away.
Alright, well, Tyron moving on forward, trying to find a little something. For Sure in a sticky situation. Gonna be jumped on, and Gould gonna go ahead and find himself a kill onto there. Now, moving on towards Krislep. The stun comes through from Laoway, trying to peel it back, and Laoway forced to flash away. In the end, it's just gonna be that one kill picked up onto For Sure, going right into the pocket of Gould.
Very, very well played gank, of course. Absolved pulling ahead across the map and looking like they're taking this early game by storm. They're looking very, very decisive, like making these early plays, and it's paying off for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, For Sure, very far up there, deep behind enemy lines. Uses that EQ to get out, but he doesn't have the flash after he failed the EQ flash up in the top lane before, so not really able to find any way out there, and does end up going down. Now we see Petzetsalat trying to get a little bit of control of the top side of the map, which is conveniently enough, where Forshaw is. So Forshaw trying to make something happen in here. But Tomasko, he has level 7 now, and although the flash isn't up, he does have the distortion, so it's pretty hard for Forshaw to make anything happen here. So Forshaw shows, threatens Tomasko a little bit, and now you can see the wave very advantageous for Patetsalat to look for a freeze. However, Tomasko is going to be pretty confidently able to break that one. Meanwhile, Tyron does not know how much danger he's in, but Mythos do not know how close they are to getting a kill, so both of them back away, and Tyron able to take away both his camps.
Yes, sneaks in, gets the camps. I think it was his own jungle. Strong words, but gonna see Tomasko and Patetsalat once get back in the mid lane. These two guys have been enjoying taking lumps out of each other. Fizz having the worst time of it right now, but Forshaw is around mid, might be looking for something. Back in top lane, Daiku and Rojojo having a bit of a scrap. Daiku going below half health. And actually, no, the shield is huge and gonna be able to back away. There's not too much kill pressure, but the bot lane from Mythos maybe trying to get something going on as they pushed in that wave.
Yeah, they were looking, when you have the Gravitum available for the Aphelios, that's going to be real nice for setting up ganks even onto the LeBlanc, who, despite being able to jump back to her pads, there is no ranged limitation on Aphelios' route. So even if she jumps back, you can still lock her down, and then it's real easy for the Leona to follow up, and that does also apply to Gould as well. Gould able to dodge out as much as he wants of the Leona, but if they just wait for the Gravitum Q to come through from Krislep, you cannot dodge an auto attack, and then Laue's life gets a little bit easier. I wouldn't actually have been surprised to see Gould take Cleanse in this lane, just because of that. Because if you have Cleanse on Kalista, you are nigh on Immortal, but instead opting to take the more traditional heal, and now building up a pretty hefty wave in the bottom lane here. Getting themselves quite a fair bit of XP. Gould level 6, and the Cloud Dragon is on the map. Meanwhile, Forshaw on the opposite side, doing the Rift Herald.
Looks like he's going to be able to pick up that one for free, which is a really nice little gain, and not being returned bot side. Looks like the engage coming in. Regan going to get the death sentence and going to get the damage down. The ignite falls as well, and it's going to be the kill going over to Fresh. Unfortunately, as Gould isn't able to secure that one for himself, but a kill is a kill, and Absolved have 4.
Yeah, so Absolved able to pick up that kill down the bottom lane, and now look up towards the dragon. Meanwhile, Daiku pulls him into the Death Realm.
It's going to be the Death Realm for Rojojo, who's near his tower, does manage to get the kill, actually, as he dives him on the tower. Forshaw going to be able to get the Cataclysm and flash out to freedom. Ashley will go down to the tower shot. That's a huge amount of damage. Absolved going to be picking up the dragon as well. So, massive turnaround play in the top side to pick up both kills, and the objective, Absolved, running rampant.
Yeah, and you take those if your Rojojo gets the flash suplex under the tower to guarantee the kill, and then Forshaw hard overcommitting, and Forshaw is now falling into a sticky situation. He's playing this Jarvan. He's the early game jungler. Zac outscales him, and Zac can clear faster than him. And we see now Forshaw is really trying to make things happen. He's trying to force as hard as he can, because he knows he's going to fall behind. And if he doesn't, it goes really downhill. So look, pretty simple stuff here. Rojojo walks up, baits Daiku a little bit, and then pulls him in, bada bing, bada boom. Flash with the suplex as well, just to get a couple of style points. And then Forshaw just like, well, we have to get something out of this. If Forshaw doesn't die to that tower hit, yeah, he can drop the Rift Herald top and start to get a bit of extra gold into his pocket, but he does not have any armor. That is a very ramped up tower, and he goes down pretty quickly. Now that the dragon has been secured, bot lanes appear to have swapped up top, with Gould going up there on his own. Maybe just to get some solo XP, because he is confident in his abilities versus Daiku, whilst Forshaw just chills bot.
Out. Ooh, I thought it was being fine. Flex Kid Tyron wanted one as well, but it wasn't going to happen. But that's the second big 2 versus 1 outplay that we've seen from Rojojo. The first one got the kill and got out. Second time gets 2 kills but does die for it. Playing exceptionally well on this set top, and now has moved to the bot side, as you say. Kalista up top feels confident to survive against the Mordekaiser. Is this something we traditionally see? Because Kalista obviously has a lot of synergy with her support. So leaving the Fresh elsewhere, is this a normal thing?
Yeah, I'm sort of the opinion that Kalista is not a champion when she doesn't have her Oathsworn around. A lot of stats loaded into her passive. But as it stands, they've said, Gould, he's good enough. Send him up into the top lane. Daiku doesn't have the ult, although it is coming up pretty soon. So Gould will have to watch out for that one, but should still be pretty capable to kite out the Mordekaiser. Very hard to land at the Obliterate and the Grasp if you are that champion up against a Kalista who is so mobile. But it looks like the rest of the team are congregating around about the mid lane. Forshaw maybe looking to try and find out a flank, whilst Tyron and Reagan move up to the top side.
Members of Mythos are kind of congregating around mid lane though, so Thomas Go needs to be a bit careful. Is quite postured up, but obviously LeBlanc is quite a hard champion to gank. Has a lot of tools for getting out of the way, and looks like both teams are now moving up towards the top side. The tower is still standing. In fact, all the towers on the map are still standing. But we do see For Sure still having that Rift Herald. Dodges out and gets a decent amount of damage on the Fizz. Needs to be careful though, as For Sure comes in for the save. He's going to have to drop that Rift Herald relatively soon. It is running down. Where would be the optimal place for this Jarvan to drop it right now?
Well, he is starting to run out of time, so realistically, literally pick a lane, you know. Just toss a couple of coins, a 3-sided dice. They're all so high on plates that you're not going to use it to knock down a tower, and you are running out of time on the Herald and on the plate spawning, so at this point you go, fine, we'll just use it to get 2 plates, you know.
Yeah.
Once plates drop, these outer towers become a lot easier to take, and you usually end up getting them sort of in one push anyway. You've got a Fizz and a Mordekaiser. You are not a siege comp, but hold this thought, Raygun has returned bot.
Looking to get something down onto Krisleb, looking for the flay, lands it, looking for the death sentence. The cage comes up first, actually, he's still got the hook available. Will land it directly onto Daiku, who is teleported in. Lawai's there as well. Flexkin joins the fight, but the Shadow Realm is between 2 Shadow Isles champions as the Rift Herald is dropped elsewhere. Daiku getting stacked up on, and Gould's just kiting him around. The dunk comes in from the set as he brings both of the enemies in. Daiku's really stacked up, gets exploded from 40% health, and Absolved 8-1 right now. They don't care too much about what's happening top. They're going to be taking this bot tower.
Now, they won't even lose the top tower for that Thomas Go there on the rotation to go up and defend it. It's a lot of plates handed over to For Sure, but I think Absolved are very okay with this. And we see right there, Gould able to live versus the Mordekaiser and Death Ram, and all he's doing, even though there's tabbies in... Oh, Rojojo!
Big shield, but Lawai's
this is dangerous.
Is going to be taking the tower shots as Rojojo just trying to dish out the pain. Does manage to survive as Regan comes in. Who's going to be coming in with the lantern? No one, as Regan steps out of range, but protects the lat, trying to find a way out. Lawai just running for their life, as we do see Kalista picking up the kill on the Fizz, but this is the more interesting chase. It's a portal combat. Aphelios is coming in towards to try and give Leona the assist.
Oh, the Moby boots are off!
Regan looking for something, goes with Death Sense, will land it, will jump in, flays both members back as Tyron picks up the kill. Looking to grab onto Krisleb. Going to be stacked up. Where's the Rend? It's not going to be enough to kill at this level. As Gould doesn't manage to pick up the final kill, that would have made that such a perfect play, but Absolved really styling. And this bot lane has been so impressive.
Oh, absolutely, and I was wondering how this swap was going because they weren't getting a lot in the top lane, and it was just giving free farm over to Krisleb. So the second that Krisleb thinks he's a little bit safe, walks up to that tower, and we see that whole play kick off. Go on down, but able to pick up that kill. Now they get the dragon, and they'll move in towards the bot tower as well. So they are A-okay with losing their tower on the top half of the map. Now we move on into a beautiful ocean rift, and you have to expect that at this point both of those dragons will be going over to Absolved.
They're in the dominant position to take them, but a lot can happen in 4.5 minutes, and it doesn't like Mythos want to be trying to grab up the second Rift Herald. They managed to get the first, and this one has just come back up, so an objective that they look all right to secure. Every member is committing to making sure that there's not going to be a good contest from Absolved. They're all over the map, so they're not going to be looking for it, and second Herald will be going down to them. Nice catch up to get some damage on these towers, which now, without the plates, will be going down pretty easily. But Absolved are going to be able to take a tower bot.
So it's as we said, the team comp for Mythos doesn't really have very good sieging potential. They can dive very hard, but if nobody ends up dying, it's pretty hard for them to hit onto those towers. And because of that, they are going to struggle to actually get a lot of use out of this Rift Herald. They're not really going to be able to walk up and hit towers alongside it. And we can see there, the mid lane tower is on full health. So this Herald realistically just exists to take Herald away from Absolved. That's sort of the sole purpose of it at this point. Maybe they'll be able to drop it to split push down bot lane or try and find a rogue tower if they're lucky, but I would not be surprised if this Herald doesn't end up finding too much, as now looks like Absolved will be setting their sights on the top half of the map. We've got the mid tower standing and the top tower, of course, still up. For Sure senses this a little bit, and he's going to move up to cover out Daiku. Let's see what they can do in the 2v1 up top. But we've seen what happens when you send too many people up against Rojojo. He has the flash and the suplex available, so For Sure... He knows.
Don't do it. Just don't dive a set when he's got his W. And hopefully they've learned their lesson by now, Mythos. They're fallen quite far behind. It's a 5k gold lead coming in for Absolved. What can Mythos do in this situation to bring this game back under control?
Not pick Jarvan.
But
that would be my first port of call.
I was about to make a comment. I'm not going to make a comment about Jarvan scaling, but
no one's going to understand it.
Okay, Jarvan scales very well.
It does.
Pog.
Kappa. No one gets that. Now we look.
That's for us. That's for the true. That's for the true fans.
The true fans will understand.
Yeah.
But in any case, how do they get back into it? Get Patetsalat some kills. The man has got his proto belt. Of course, can't exactly match up to Thomas Go's Ludens and Sork shoes, but proto belt is a lot cheaper, so he has that advantage on his side. So get Patetsalat some money, and then from there he can look to try and turn that into a couple of picks onto the LeBlanc, onto the Kalista, realistically onto the Thresh as well. Just try and find anything. Of course, one of the big benefits, though, for Absolved here is that they are up against a lot of magic damage. You're against the Mordekaiser and the Fizz. And because of that, Tyrion gets suspiciously tanky because he is able to build the Spirit Visage first. Obviously, he's playing Zac, he wants to do that anyway, but now he actually gets the benefit of having all that magic resist. So there is a big clock here for Mythos to try and get some picks out and try and get a little bit of money, and preferably some onto Krislep as well, because there is not a lot that Patetsalat can do to a Zac. And Daiku, if he's focusing the Zac in the fight, if he's death throwing the tank, Gould and Thomas Go are just going to run wild.
Speaking of Thomas Go, just picked himself up a blue buff. That's very nice if you're a LeBlanc, but the game has got into the standard like lull that we'll see around this time when things have been a little faster in the early game. Absolved not wanting to push their luck, not wanting to go for crazy risky plays, and Mythos don't really have a solution to start anything themselves because they know that they lose situations. There's nothing to fight over from the map except towers, and even then it's kind of a slow boil, and no one's put themselves in a position where they can be collapsed on or dove. So we're going to see a little bit slower. Baron will be up in a minute, Dragon up in less than that.
Seconds.
That's when things will kick off. You've got to imagine.
Yeah. So, obviously they can hard force, and yeah, they could hard force, they would win a fight, they'd get that mid tower. But then they wouldn't have the cooldowns for the Dragon. You think, yeah, Tyrion can just hard dive, he's playing Zac, he can just flash onto the backline. But they'd rather save those cooldowns. Oh, you don't want to face check that.
But Set is not actually going to be able to do too much when he misses his W. Gets the smackdown behind the lines, but Daiku not going to tank too many towers. We see the Rift Tower dropped once again down that mid lane. But that is the fight that Rojojo is going to win, but Daiku actually standing up pretty well for himself in that situation.
Yeah, both top laners losing their ultimates there does pose a big threat when it comes to the effectiveness of their TP flanks. Tyrion
tries to get a good engage, but won't have enough follow-up to continue on, and Thomas Go again, trying to find something on the flank, isn't able to do so.
Watch Daiku.
Right here, you could... Daiku...
looking for
Watch him, he's in base. Tyrion looking for the engage. Doesn't manage to grab it and is stunned up actually. Teleport's coming in from both the top laners. It's going to be Daiku who's there first. Gets a lot of damage down onto the Zac, who's going to bounce away. Takes a lot of damage from the ultimate. But it's going to be Absolved picking up the first kill of the fight. Now that Set is here, things have turned around, but Gould has been shut down. Jojo goes down as well as the re-engage comes in from Thomas Go, but he's pretty squishy, doesn't get the assassination and goes low. Will be able to get one on for sure, but Potato Salad has warded the rest of the members of Absolved away. Looking to dive onto LeBlanc, won't be able to do so with the Playful Trickster. Mythos turn that fight, grab a nice 2 for 1. 2 for 2 in fact. But when you're behind like they are, you'll be happy with that.
Yeah, they're happy to take in those shutdowns, and now they will move down towards the Dragon. Forshaw is dead. Tyrion is alive. He can look for a steal. You even have Reagan to get you out of the pit with the Lantern. As it stands, Reagan trying to take on Daiku. He's 4 levels down, and now he's just lost the Blast Cone, but they probably needed for the steal. But in any case, so Drake wasn't started anyway, so no harm, no foul. Now Thomas Go.
Thomas Go doing a lot of damage to this Fizz. Does have Playful Trickster available to get out and Lawai in the wings. But... that fight was very, very close, considering how much we've been talking about Absolved being in such a dominant position. Really not potentially one they wanted. They have now got control over this Dragon area. Tyrion available as well, so might look to start this one up, but the damage dealers are not yet there. But with a Kalista and a jungler who is a level up, you've got to imagine this one's going to be hard to steal away by Mythos.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tricky one to go for. And we can see Forshaw not looking to contest. He's on the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Absolved just waiting for all their members, let Thomas go, get back in. And this time around, if they fight, should go a lot more favorably, as Rojojo is here from the start and has the suplex available. The reason the last fight went so poorly is because Tyron engages on very low health, and he doesn't land the engage, so he doesn't get the aftershock, so he is then basically immediately blown up. Out of the fight, Thomas Go getting out of that one alive, but now Spooky Third Drake secured.
Spooky Third Drake secured, the Doctor Special. Now the fourth one will give Soul. As they look to seize down mid tower, they're going to be able to grab that one up. Lawa needs to be careful. Going to be running away from the members of Absolved as they are now moving towards that one. Thomas Go a little bit later than the others, but this LeBlanc is so scary because the assassination potential is huge right now. Thomas Go in a very strong position, 3 kills, a lot of farm, and 1.5 really good items.
Next, he's got the jeweled pen there and picked up the Ludens as well, so huge one-shot potential when that Luden's Echo is up, but we'll have to see who it's pointed towards, as it is a pretty tanky team from Mythos, but Krislep doesn't really fall underneath that bracket, so he's got to be playing pretty safe, pretty spooked, which probably means he'll be asking Laowei to hold him close. And if that happens, Laowei's not being able to engage up with Foreshore, and the team comp starts to fall apart for Mythos. So even if Thomas Go isn't getting a lot going, it's still pretty good. You know, he's not finding the kills, he's still just the threat of it can help to crumble the Mythos composition.
Laowei just to use Stoneplate, not near any champions.
It's flexing.
And that's a reasonably big cooldown when Baron is on the map. For this Leona, who's already down 4 levels on the marksman, 5 levels down on Thomas Go in the mid lane, losing that can mean that she's going to be surprisingly squishy in these engages and could well just be an assassination target for Absolved. Obviously, they don't know that this is the case, so they're not going to be active.
That is true.
I don't know how critical the information is, but I always love it when it's not as funny as like a stopwatch. But I always love when people just use abilities when they're nowhere near anyone. But Baron still just sitting there, fighting for vision. But
Will.
Do you see what I saw? There are a couple of key wards that Absolved have not swept.
Oh no, I'm just molding about the fact that Foreshore has built Warmog's at level 11, so it's not active, and I think Jarvan's base health isn't even high enough. He might only get it at like level 14.
He's been playing too much Sejuani, is what
Someone's playing too... I don't rate... If you get Warmog's at level 11 on Sejuani, you're a clown.
What if you get it at like level 9?
You're a clown. Build the other health parts first. Like, if you have the choice to finish the Warmogs, or like get another Ruby Crystal, just get another Ruby Crystal at this point. I'm pretty sure it's worth more health, like, because it doesn't actually do anything now until you actually finish it. This is why I'm a big fan of just going Knight's Vow and then Warmogs, because then you know you're going to have it. But at this point, you've spent a lot of money on items that isn't really giving you an awful lot. Yeah, you can jump in, you can engage, you have 0 resistances, because you have no armor, you don't have the gargoyles, and you don't have a Knight's Vow to give you any healing either, so Foreshore will jump in and he will die very rapidly.
This is true, and there is a decent amount of damage on Absolved's side as well, but, I mean, I don't hate it. I play a lot of Sejuani, it's kind of what I go for as well. Laowei has the Stoneplate available now, so blushes have been saved for the support from Mythos, but game has kind of got a bit slow, but here comes the Baron. This is what we need to get the game going again. Vision is not on Baron from Mythos, but I'm pretty sure they know it's happened. Now they will definitely know. They have the information now. Mordekaiser's on the bot side, but doesn't have teleport even. So Daiku is going to have to wander up, and the Baron, again, it's going to be hard to steal because your jungler is at the same level, but you've got a Kalista. And now Laowei trying to engage onto Thomas Go. He's going to be able to jump away. Leona actually very, very low. Rojojo is creating a ruckus in the back, looking to get the damage down, looking to get the assassination. Will dunk onto the Leona to pick up the first kill. Krislep will be going down for number 2. And Rojojo now chasing the rest of the members away. Daiku has gone into the Shadow Realm. He's grabbed someone up there. It is the Flex King, and Foreshore protects that, and maybe looking for the steal. It's going to go low, looking for the Ren. Won't be able to grab it out of the back of the pit. It is going to be secured by Tyrant, and the cleanup is coming through from Absolved. Daiku's the only member available. Gould jumps back into the pit. They're looking for the damage onto the Mordekaiser. They'll be able to get it. Triple kill coming in from Gould. They get Baron on 4, and they're going to run down the lane.
And that was terrifying. for Absolved, but they find that they get the ace. Rojojo 1v3, 1v4, he doesn't care, demolishing up the backline. It looked scary when the Mordekaiser got into the pit, as we'll see. We just watched this. Thomas Go doing a little bit of zoning, you know, throws out onto Lawe. Lawe now has no eclipse, no bone plating, so Lawe has to be absolutely terrified. Then everyone sort of overcommits a little bit, and they just sort of forget that this is a set, right? At this point, Rojojo throws out a very early W. You think that would have just one-hit people if he had it charged up, but he's okay with it, because all that Forshore's Warmogs has done is make Rojojo's ult do more damage to Ophelia, so he finds out the kill. Now Daiku's in the pit trying to take out the Zac. He doesn't get the kill, but critically, we can see that it makes Gould tank the Dragon. Oh, that went to 89 health. Oh, what's going on?
It breaks out around the Dragon. This is for Soul. Gould is actually going very low. He's going to resurrect, but this fight's actually looking much better for Mythos. They've taken down the Callista. Callista will fall. They also took down the Zac and the Fresh. They grab up the Dragon. That wasn't in the script. They also took down the Zac.
It's not quite right. Okay, well, fourth Dragon, not quite secured by Absolved. No idea what happened there, but hopefully we'll get on into a replay as it stands. Rojojo and Thomas Go still holding on to the Barons, so that is fine, because Rojojo is going to be able to split away with one of those, but it does mean Thomas Rowe will have to return to the wave a little bit more often than he would like if he wants to go for a cheeky split push, you know, not split push, he wants to go try and make some picks, but I want to bring back to the Baron. You saw that it was on 2.4k, and then Callista rendered, and it went to 12k. Daiku, man, I'm trying to make a point. Yeah, Thomas Go, he can just jump over walls. Why would you jump back?
Because he wants
You were very safe.
He's playing with him, you know? It's Tom and Jerry.
Okay. If you're against Mordekaiser and you can get over a wall, it's GG. But, good lord. It's on Baron's on 2400. Gould rends it for 1200. He would have done the full damage, but because Daiku had ulted the Zac, Gould was now tanking it, and whoever is tanking Baron does half damage to it, so it looks like it was a really scuffed rend from Gould, and it was, but he almost hit it basically perfectly on. Let's see it coming through here. Oh, another replay, yeah. Rojojo's shenaniganing in the background. Gould's tanking out, but yeah, now at this point, he starts tanking the Baron, and you can see just how close it is. He rends it down, it's at 2.2k, and it ends up taking 10k damage, so definitely would have been lethal, but Flex King Tyrion just doesn't go down to Daiku, because he was allowed to build the Spirit Visage, and is able to get back up and steal away the Baron. Well,
interesting. Coming out, what led that into the Dragon fight is what I'm really interested in seeing as well.
I'm intrigued. We'll find out.
It was such a crazy turnaround that was such a strong win for Absolved, and then they go 30 seconds later to the Dragon and they lose out. So what they've done is they've started up here. Teleport comes in the back. Nice engage there from Leona, and the follow-up is pretty big from Forsure. But they're just tanking up Dragon. They've turned on this fight. Krislev's untouched in the backline and is able to just melt through. This is still the Felios, and the Dragon is helping out quite a lot. So they then execute it. That's little thanks from Mythos. But yeah, it's just able. This shows that Mythos are still very much in this game.
Yeah, the two fights.
Oh, Krislev's not in this game, though.
He's not in this game at all. Oh, no. Oh, dear. And that's what Thomas Go has been waiting to do for 30 minutes. But the two fights that Mythos have won have been the ones where they've been able to dive onto Gould and just insta-pop him. Especially blowing out his QSS as well. So a lot of pressure there on Lawe and on Foreshore. And I think both times Gould has actually been hit by just Vajav and EQ. Maybe it was just once, I'm not sure. But if Gould can play these fights a little bit safer, work a little bit better with Reagan to get that peel, get that disengage, he's going to absolutely demolish these fights. But when he goes down instantly, you start to lose a lot of your sustained damage. Yes, you have Set, who's still pretty disgusting, but he can at least be controlled a little by Lawe and Daiku.
Mythos now, uphill battle, the next place where they're going to fight Baron and Dragon coming up pretty much simultaneously. Do you think that there could be some kind of one team takes one team takes the other? Which team is in a better position to initiate that, and where will they go?
So Absolved is still very much in the lead, and they will win the fights. Okay. Because they are going to go for the Dragon, because the Dragon Soul, especially Ocean, is worth more than the Baron right now.
Okay.
And so expect to see Absolved look down to contest that one. So the pressure would then be, do Mythos rate the Dragon, the Ocean Soul, that highly, or do they say, well, we can get the Baron, that will help us stall out the game, and then we can contest the Elder or something like that. So I think it's worth fighting over. They won their last fight. They've proven they can win these fights, and everyone has their hefty cooldowns up. If they want to contest the Ocean Dragon, it's definitely an option for Mythos. A lot is going to come down to for sure getting the right engage with Laue, and also what guns does Krislep have?
You want to elaborate on that Aphelios gun thing? What are the options
I did it earlier. He's got good ones. All right, okay. He's got the Chakram and he's got the Flamethrower. Obviously, the as we said earlier, the Gravitum, real nice. Hold that thought.
It looks like the fight is going to break out. Laue looking for the engage, and it looks like members have been caught out. Shows over into the back line as Rojo Joe is causing havoc, but the damage is all coming out from Gould, from Thomas Go, and they're going to be able to chase away members of Mythos. Regan going to be able to drag Foreshore back, but he's kind of tanky, so it's not really a worry, but the rest of the team is already being dispatched, and no number of Cataclysms are going to save you there. Really nice play from Regan to secure the ace, and this could well be game. Absolved coming in massive with that team fight.
They're looking on to find the push through 30 seconds on the respawn times. They'll definitely get an inhib. They'll probably get one Nexus tower, but can they look for a little bit more? Gould has the Guardian Angel, and it's still 20 seconds before anyone is alive. They're trying to clear out the waves, and it's perfect timing as a wave of their own follows into the base.
They've got tanky members who can tank up these towers as well. I think this could be Curtains, and Absolved will be the team going 4-on-1 as they take down Mythos in a very, very interesting game.
Interesting's a way to put it. It was disgusting from Absolved for so long in the game, and then Mythos look like they can bring it back once or twice. We think there's going to be a huge fight in around that dragon, and then the LeBlanc, Thomas Go, picks off Mordekaiser. That's not really the person you're expecting to find the assassination onto. But they still managed to do it. Turn that fight into an instant 5v4. Something really nice about that fight as well, that was, yes, the Aphelios was really well set up with the Chakram and the Flamethrower. That's exactly what you want for a big 5v5. But Rojo Joe recognizes this and completely zones him out of the fight. The Flamethrower is one of the worst guns to have in a 1v1. Chakrams are pretty good, but you need to pair them up with the right thing. You know, if that had been a Gravitum in there or a Severum, you know, the lifesteal one, that's very dangerous for Rojo Joe, but he recognizes all he has to do is keep the Aphelios away, because that is a team comp that lacks a lot of consistent damage, especially, of course, once the Mordekaiser has been taken out. And so, from there, it is clear, easy pickings for Absolved to finish off that game.
I think we're going to have an interview coming in now as well with the winning team. So that's going to be Rojo Joe coming in from Absolved. I believe he's just joined. Rojo Joe, are you there?
Hey, hello guys.
Hey, how are you doing? Congratulations on the win. How are you feeling after that one?
I mean, pretty excited. I shouted a few times when they tried to dive me and kind of fucked up quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, those early kind of 2v1s, the first one where you got the first blood and got out, and the second one where you did die, but you managed to take two of them out. What was going through your mind when these plays were being made? Did you expect to come out on top in both of those situations?
Oh yeah, I mean, that, like, I have my W and I was gonna win. Why they tried. That you don't dive a set, I think that was just kind of dumb, bad, but that wasn't the playthrough bot. Did this game not through top?
I gotta say, like, set is definitely not balanced in those situations, but how much of this set success comes down to personal tutoring, free coaching from the set mastermind that is Rhydona Carry?
Sucks.
Alright, fine. Okay.
But I love him.
No, right answer.
I love the Portsmouth Pirates. Shout out.
Ah, yes! We do love the Portsmouth Pirates, exactly. Alright. I've already derailed the interview. Perfect.
Oh, goodness me.
I've got my agenda out there.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you're... Yeah, good. Couple of questions, Absolved. Obviously, you're coming in as a team. A lot of expectations on the team, a lot of... just a lot of expectations from people within the organisation and a lot of fans of the UKEL. You seem to be living up to that quite well. Are you guys confident that now with 5 wins, that's probably enough to get into playoffs, not confirmed, or 4 wins even, not confirmed, but that should be enough to get you guys in there? Are you thinking that you should be challenging for that #1 spot?
Yes, for sure. I think we can beat London if we actually play our best game. Yeah, look forward to the match next week.
It's going to be an exciting one, and of course, I think it's fair to say, Harry, this is a question for you as well, but who do you think is going to be our MVP coming out of that game?
Mate, you've really just put me on. I mean,
I have.
I can't not say Rojo. He knows where I live, roughly. He's got a city-wide area, and he's in the. If I say anything else, I'm a done man.
I made my decision and was like, basically, if I'd asked you after Rojo left the interview, you could have said anyone. But I think it's Rojo, so I was kind of leading you in that direction by having him here when you say that.
You heard it here first. MVPs are rigged, but either way, would have been Rojo. Multiple 2v1s, and absolutely carrying the fight at that Baron as well behind the pit. Oh, mamma mia, the sick 1v3 off of that. And did you sort of know that you were just going to be able to pick up an easy triple behind the pit there?
Yeah, I was very strong.
Yeah.
I think it was like Leona and Jarvan. They're the
yeah.
members. So it was like we're just like, okay, let's just kill them because
why not? Yeah, it works out.
Punk was there as well, and she was like one shot. Shout out to Tom as well.
I did have a pretty sick performance on Battle of Monk. Thomas Go, I feel like flying under the radar a fair bit, actually doing pretty darn well in most of his games.